Like, yeah, broken down on Freeway 9. Take a look at her engine started. Leave her purring and I roll on by. Free love on the free love freeway. The love is free and the freeway's long. I got some hot love on the hot love highway. Ain't going home cause my baby's gone. She's dead. She's not dead.
One of my all-time favorite Office moments.
Long time later.
You've seen this one, right? This is when they're at a training and he pulls out the guitar and starts playing for no reason. All right, hopefully we'll have Ricky Gervais on the show in moments. Welcome back to the Peter Rosenberg Show. I'm Peter Rosenberg, Daryl Francis. By the way, just to get a couple things clear, someone just hit me on the instant messenger. By the way, I said this yesterday, and I'm trying to stick by this. If you have an issue with something that you want to argue with me, I'd much prefer you to call me and yell at me about it on the phone, as opposed to yelling at me on instant messenger. He said, someone IM'd me and said, no, you're wrong. O'Reilly only called him Alioto. Was that what I said he called him?
Mm-hmm.
He only called him Alioto to make fun of what Kennedy said. Because Kennedy got it wrong. And Kennedy did, except there's only one problem with that, is that, first of all, I heard O'Reilly do it the day before. Literally, I heard O'Reilly do it here when I was leaving the station, then got home and saw Kennedy say it on TV. So it's not really that accurate to say that O'Reilly was just mocking Ted Kennedy, because that's just inaccurate. So I'm just trying to clarify my position on that. All right, so coming up a little bit, we're going to play me and Daryl's experience down at Redskins Park. And, of course, as we said yesterday throughout the show, anytime you have anything to say about the Redskins at this point, we're happy to take your calls on it. 202-432-1067, 800-636-1067, Rosenberg Show on your AOL Instant Messenger. We did put up the Sean Taylor. I sent a lot of people yesterday the Sean Taylor incident, and a lot of people, said, wow, it does look pretty bad from that angle, and it did. At the same time, I hope I didn't come down as too hard on Sean Taylor. I mean, I do want to say I have no reason to think that Sean Taylor is a bad kid simply because of the experiences that he's had. And I don't want to be one of those guys who's jumping down his throat. Yes, there we go. Davey Munsell runs in here and tells me we have our very special guest on the phone. So before we get that, hold on. I'm going to pull up a clip that we play regularly. Because like I said, for a lot of Americans who haven't caught on yet to what Ricky Gervais has been doing, this is a clip we always play on the show. That's one of my absolute favorites.
I'm an educator. I'm a motivator of people. I excite their imaginations. It's like bloody Dead Poet Society sometimes out there, at the end where they all stand on the tables, and I wouldn't want them to stand on the tables, literally. It's against health and safety for one thing. But my point is this: life is about communication. We live for 70 years and 10, and it's, did I communicate? Yes, you did. Did I get something across? Yes, you did. Are you going to pay me for it? Yes, lots. Thanks very much. Not why I do it, but thank you.
That is a clip from The Office, one of my favorites. Joining us on the phones, absolutely, in my opinion, pretty much the funniest person on the planet, Ricky Gervais. Thank you so much for joining us.
Wow, what an introduction.
Ricky,
I can only disappoint.
Exactly. That's what I'm setting you up for here, is the bona fide disappointment. Ricky, first and foremost, man, I want to thank you. Me and my girlfriend, I have a new girlfriend, I've been dating a few months, and I have to say, The Office has actually become the backbone of our relationship at this point. And
wow.
I run into a lot of people who all they do, it's like there's a certain, because as I'm sure you realize, and The Office is a hit, and I haven't been to England in the last couple of years. Actually, I don't know why I said that when I haven't really been to outside of Heathrow Airport ever, for that matter. But that said, I know how huge a hit it is in England. Here, it's still kind of a cultish thing.
It's sort of in England. It's sort of like bread and milk. It's sort of that big, really.
That's the context that I've heard. You go to the grocery store, you got your bread, your milk, and your Office,
and you have to say something from The Office. Yeah.
Tell me this: are you sick of The Office yet? Is it enough?
No, I'm not, because we stopped. I'd be sick of it if we were still going, I imagine. And people like yourself, that. As it's the backbone of your relationship and it's finite, I can't ruin your relationship. Now, if I came up with a third series, I reckon you'd split up because it'd disappoint.
See, that's exactly how I feel. But my biggest concern is now, if things don't work out with me and my girlfriend, The Office could be ruined for me for life.
Yeah, that's a worry.
And that's something that scares me. And also, what about Extras? Extras came out. When did you actually? Extras aired on HBO this past year.
That's right.
When did you actually do it?
I think it only came out a couple of weeks earlier in England. I think we did. I think it was July, August in England, and September in America. I think.
Are you going to give us a second season of Extras?
Yeah,
or is that
I'm writing that at the moment. Yeah, that's why I sound distracted. I'm literally writing at the moment with my other hand. Yeah, and that's going to air here in the autumn and maybe HBO at the same time. So.
And also, I want to jump out here and say this. I like to be honest during my interviews. This is one of the rare circumstances. I sort of hate having people this funny on the phone because I end up laughing the whole time, and I lose my edge as an interviewer and just become a. What did you call me yesterday, Daryl, about the Redskins?
A groupie?
No, you called me a fluffer. You called me
a fluffer. Yeah.
I don't want to be a Ricky.
You're a man fan fluffer.
I don't want to be a Ricky Gervais fluffer. I want to ask him the hard questions.
Well, you're doing a great job of it.
Difficult over the phone.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, I could do it myself, and then
in America they flip out if you self fluff on the radio, they hate it. So Ricky, tell me this: why?
I'm writing. I'm holding the phone. I've only got one pair of hands.
Ricky, tell me why are characters like David Brent, and me and my brother were talking about this. Characters like, you got David Brent, Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm, even Napoleon Dynamite. These guys who you root for them and you love them, but they totally are neurotic and they wear it on their sleeves. Why right now is that kind of character so popular, you think?
Yeah, I suppose it's the comedy of embarrassment, social faux pas, the minutiae of life has come into its own the last few years. I suppose we have a long spate of bigger characters, slightly more obvious characters. There still are those around. There's still big comedies that are very broad brushstrokes, quite obvious comedy. But I never wanted to be part of a comedy where the hair and makeup had more chance of winning an Oscar than the writing, and I think that a lot, particularly in America, it's always been a model that I've admired the auteur. I admire those people that sort of do it all. Woody Allen, Larry David, Gary Shandling. I've really admired those that do that, and I knew that I sort of had to do it all to just get what I was thinking of on the screen. I didn't think I was the best writer or director in the world. I certainly didn't think I was the best actor. But I wanted to cut out the middleman. So, and there's a certain extent in me that goes, I wanted to say I did that. I could say I did that, and that's a nice feeling. And it is certainly, it's about the creative process. But the reward is good. The reward for me is not only knowing that it came out exactly as I imagined it, but that it was. You can say that's I've done something, and everyone wants to leave a legacy. With me, it's comedy. It's embarrassing enough being a comedian for a living. It's not like being a war hero or a doctor. So the least I can do is
Yeah, but what do you do?
Well.
What do you do now, though? And when you've I'm sorry, I mean, and again, I don't want to fluff too hard. When you've contributed something that is as brilliant as The Office, I've always thought, like, for example, when you walk out, you direct your American Beauty, John Singleton finishes his Boys in the Hood. When you walk out of this classic that you make, how does it make the next step scary, or do you feel like the opposite? You got nothing to lose at this point.
I'm doing Boys in the Hood too. And I'm taking the Ice Cube role. It's very different. It's set in a middle class sort of white suburb where we're moaning about frappuccinos being too cold.
See, Daryl, I can see that.
There are no drive-bys. Well, I have a chauffeur. I get my chauffeur to argue with another chauffeur, and the worst that can happen is I slightly bruise their ego. So it's very different, but that's what I'm going to do next. No, I wasn't scared about it because I wasn't worried about public reaction or press the first time round, and you've got to give people what you want, not what they want. If you pander and you water it down, you'll end up giving them what they've been given for the last however many years, and it does nothing. You mustn't worry about people not liking it. You do it for the people that do like it. I know there's many people that hate The Office as love it, but I wouldn't have it any other way. When I first started, I said I'd rather this programme be 1 million people's favourite show this year than 20 million people's 19th favourite show. It doesn't interest me. The point of this, the point of life, is making a connection. Jesus, I sound like David Brent.
Yeah,
Over and out. Goodbye from London.
Yeah, yeah, you really did. That was a full David Brent speech we just got. I was gonna say that at the end, and Ricky's a radio guy. So at the end of the interview, because I'm thrilled to have you on, I was gonna ask you to do me, to give me like a David Brent drop, a David Brent clip promo for the show. You almost gave me a virtual one there completely by accident.
I know. I'll never live it down.
What was your biggest break? I know you were doing some artist management stuff, and you were in radio, which actually mirrors my life. Well, you being hugely successful now, it's a little different. But you were doing a lot of stuff. At what point, first of all, when in your life was the big break, and can you pinpoint something as you hit a moment and you go, okay, this might happen now?
Well, I suppose in many ways, getting the job on the radio station gave me an outlet, which is very important. In life, I think everyone should do something creative, whatever it is, even if it's gardening, doing a stand-up show once a month. It doesn't matter what it is. Making model railways, you have to have an artistic outlet. I really think that you have to do that to feed your soul. And so that was quite important. And just coming up with stuff. And it was validated because it was being heard. So I was always a funny guy. I always made my friends laugh in the pub, but then it just drifted off, and that was the end of that. But I suppose when you're doing it on radio, however small an audience you've got or whatever, it sort of validates it. You think, I'm doing this for a reason. Someone who I don't know is going to hear this, and they're going to like it or not. The big break, obviously, was getting our own way with The Office.
But did you just pitch that to BB? Like, so I sort of envision at the end of Extras, the last episode of Extras, I sort of envision that being, what things were like with you at the BBC. Is that accurate?
With one big difference. We had a 20-minute show reel in our hand. We'd actually made our own little thing. It went back to where I used to work in my old office, and we filmed me doing this character. So I didn't have to pitch them that I could act or direct or write. I said, do you like this? They said yes, and I said, right, I'm going to do it. And if that had been a script, it would still be in someone's top drawer.
Here's my question then. You say, and I've heard you say this before, you're not the best actor, you're not the best director, you're not the best writer. You say all this stuff.
I'm being humble. I am the best actor in the... No, I'm joking. Sorry. Go on.
But in all honesty, though, you tell me a better actor than you. I mean, I don't know that I can name a comedic actor who I've seen. I mean, I'll tell you right now, we rewatched, because I watched The Office by myself, and I'm taking Alexa through The Office. We started at the beginning, now we finished the first special, and I mean, I've sobbed twice. Every time I see David Brent beg for his job, I want to blow my brains out. I mean, you are a real actor at this point. You have to admit it.
Well, see, I'm going red now. I'm writing extras. I'm talking to you. I'm fluffing, and I'm bright red.
A lot of fluffing going on.
A whole lot of fluffing going on.
That's a song. You want to get a song? You get Carl Perkins to say that. You have a song right there. and by the way, and Ricky, you'll be pleased to know, last night I was laying in bed with my girlfriend. Listen, I'm laying in bed with my girlfriend. We're watching The Office, and I go, we've never had the conversation about who your one freebie could be. I go, you can have a freebie. And she looked, and this has to be incredible for you to at this point in your life to now realize this. This is a beautiful 20-year-old American college girl. She looks at you on the screen and looks at me as if, and I go, Ricky Gervais, you want Ricky Gervais to be your only freebie? And she's like, he's the funniest guy in the world. And I was like,
yeah, no, what she's doing there is she's choosing someone that couldn't threaten anyone.
That's what I said.
If someone said, I had an affair, who with Ricky Gervais? You go, oh, phew, I thought it was a real bloke. So she's just being nice to you there.
Well, exactly. I didn't want to tell you that I was incredibly relieved when she said that.
Exactly, of course. Yeah.
Wait, Ricky, you're married, right?
Yeah. I've got a long-term girlfriend. Yeah, sort of.
How long have you guys been together?
Oh, 20-odd years. So yes, I just not literally. We haven't done the signing of the thing, but there's we live together. It's as tight a marriage as any other. So yeah.
Has there been any stress at all from you being the aspiring comedian, radio personality, everything you were, because you guys have been together so long, to now being literally an international superstar. And I'm sure no matter what you say, I know women throw themselves at you, and I know they look at you all the time. Has it put any stress on the relationship?
Oh, yeah, I think you're wrong on both counts. There's no one throwing themselves at me, and the only stress for me is that I suppose I don't really like being famous per se. Obviously, it's nice being known for the work and respected for the work, but I've never been one of these people that couldn't wait to be famous so they could get into the front of a queue or to hang out with showbiz parties. I never do that because it bores me, So that's the only stress really. That I'm a bit conscious that if I walk down the street, people are looking at me. But you know what? It's not that bad. If people stop me, they say a nice thing and they say, "Can I have my autograph?"
But is it annoying? Is it annoying to be called, I'm sure, David Brent all the time? If people calling you David Brent on the street?
They don't know. They know the difference between.
Yeah, I guess people can piece it all together.
Yeah, they know my names.
See, in America, that's why they had to make The Office here a little bit different. In America, people aren't smart enough to know that it's not a real documentary; it's a fake documentary.
I disagree. I think the people I've come across in the industry, journalism, broadcasting, in general, actors have been cleverer and more erudite than the people I come across in England.
Really?
Oh yeah, I think maybe the people that I mix with. I've only seen a very small part of America. I've only seen New York and LA, and I suppose I'm mixing with the cream of the crop in terms of TV making and stuff. But honestly, it's a myth to me that Americans are less discerning or stupid or don't get irony. But then, as I say, the people I know in America are people like Larry David and
you can add me to that list now, by the way.
Yeah, I can add to
Larry David.
Again?
Larry David.
Exactly. And your name?
Larry David. Ricky, I don't know if people know this. Ricky and I are close friends. That's we've been friends.
Yes, I was joking. We are.
He goes, Larry David. You can add Peter Rosenberg to that list starting right now. Two Jews.
I will.
And you got two Jews.
As soon as I learned how to spell it, I'm going to add that.
That's an ERG. That's an ERG.
Okay, right.
This is a sort of personal question, but I'm curious because I found out recently that every flaw that I thought I've ever cured in a relationship, for the next relationship, I haven't in fact cured. I know you've been in one for a long time. What would you say is the most recurring flaw you have as a partner in a relationship?
Well, this is going to surprise you, okay? And I shouldn't really say this on air, but I'm flawless. There, I said it. It's out. So sue me.
Oh, yeah. That's actually what I was expecting to hear from Ricky Gervais.
You wanted something really awful and salacious and confessional and almost embarrassing. I think you were relieved again that you didn't get it.
I know, and again, with Ricky, you don't even have to worry about that being a possibility. The Office is available currently in the States. The Extras DVD is not out here yet, is it?
No, I suppose it's going to come out next year. But the one thing that the people can tune in that I do every week now is the podcast.
And by the way,
we've
Ricky,
been listening to that.
Yeah, we love the podcast.
That's so much fun for me, just being in a room with two mates chatting, and it takes us no time at all. But I really look forward to it, and it's just lovely to. That people around the world are
and it's like the
tuning in
biggest
and listening to Carl Pilkington, the closest thing to a shaved chimpanzee you'll ever find, and it's so exciting for me. That's my favourite thing at the moment.
And it's the most popular podcast in the world, isn't it?
Well, apparently, but I think that's I don't know. I think that's rather like saying I've got the biggest collection of tea cozies in the world. I don't think there's a lot of competition there. If you're willing to collect tea cozies, you can dominate. So I think it's because it's in infancy. But yes, it is. We're getting like about 250,000 downloads a week, and
that's pretty good.
That's a lot of downloads.
And they can go to guardian.co.uk /Ricky Gervais.
And then, of course, Ricky's website is rickygervais.com. We're talking with Ricky Gervais, the creator and star of The Office, Extras. He has his book series that's coming out, Flanimals, which will be available in the States soon.
Yeah, and I'm just been signed up to the Chicago Bulls.
What position?
See,
now I ruined the show.
Out of information. Quarterback. Exactly. That's the only one I've heard of.
I knew I could get him there.
Goalkeeper. Wicket keeper.
He's wicket keeper for the Bulls. That's a big position.
Yeah.
Hey, Ricky, couple last questions for you. How did you get the Dawn-Tim relationship just so right?
We thought about it more than any other aspect of the show. We knew where we wanted to go, and we went there. We pulled back, and then we went there again, and then even in the edit, we toned stuff down, and we went back and drip fed it. We just honestly what's the word? We fussed over it. We mollycoddled it. We absolutely tended to it more than most people would bother, and that's the answer. Rewrites and worrying and starting again. But that's probably what we're proudest of. We love the comedy, and I'm very proud of Brent and my performance, particularly the one you mentioned about the crying. That's probably my proudest moment in acting, because it sort of felt like real acting for about 30 seconds.
No, it was very real. There are a few parts. I think the first part, and for people, you have to go out and buy the DVDs and appreciate this, but I think the first part when I really started seeing you as going far beyond comedic was when you give the most awkward speech in the history of office meetings ever, when you basically tell Neil, just sit back and watch, I'm going to go to work.
Yeah.
And you give the worst jokes. My parents used to own a paper store until it blew away.
Yeah.
Just the worst jokes ever. And then after the meeting, when Neil says, David Brent, ladies and gentlemen, and he's just like, whatever, and just sits there staring at the ground, angry at himself.
Yeah. I wanted that shot. I wanted to look straight in the camera, like just through the crowd, to show that this is a real person, and it's just something so sad about a 40-year-old guy who's tried to show off.
39.
It didn't work. It's just tragic, isn't it? Could I just say as well how good the American Office is?
I was going to ask you, do you like the American version?
I love it. I think they've done an amazing job. I think Greg Daniels and the team and Steve Carell. I think the Jim and Pam story there probably hit the ground running sort of quicker than we did in many ways, and it's brilliant. I mean, with absolutely nothing to do with it, my top 3 sitcoms at the moment would be Curb Your Enthusiasm, Arrested Development, and The American Office. I think it's and I can say that because of my very, very, very limited and early input to it. For the last year, they've been on their own, and it's got better, if anything.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. I think they've done brilliant.
All right, we've been talking with Ricky Gervais. His website's rickygervais.com. He has the podcast every week. The DVD, The Office is available now. Extras you can watch on your HBO On Demand. Flanimals you could get at Amazon.com. Flanimals.
And I have a fridge freezer for sale, $400 or nearest offer.
Hey, Ricky, I need you to do some sort of plug for the Peter. It's called the Peter Rosenberg Show.
Yep.
I need you to give me something, a good long one that I can run as an intro here, something classic. I hate to put the pressure on you. Just something.
Sorry, you want to do a what? How long?
20, 30 seconds, just a rambling. I just need a great rambling. I'll run it every day as my intro. I just need something good.
Okay. This guy, Peter Rosenstein, is one of my closest friends. I've known Rosie for many years now, and when me and Steve get together, we are just we're like two peas in a pod. So listen to the Steve Steinberg show every day. He's amazing.
Ricky, thank you very, very much for your time. We certainly appreciate it. We're rooting for you when you come over to the States. We'd love to see you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That was Ricky Gervais. He's brilliant, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's embarrassing to sit there and just want to laugh the entire time. I hate being thrown off my game like that, but I just want to laugh at everything he says.
You didn't mind fluffing.
Not a bad fluffer. We'll be right back with our day yesterday at Redskins Park. This is the Peter Rosenberg Show.